You're listening to the Pop Punk Revolution Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brian Underwood and Sean Zizi.
Welcome to the Pop Punk Revolution Podcast. I am your host, Brian Underwood from Tonality Studio, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Sean Zizi, author at controlplusspace.com.
Brian, I didn't know you were, feeling that way. And you even did my introduction for me. What a wonderful friend you are. I guess I have to say I feel the same, Brian. I mean, we've known each other for so long.
Well, that just warms my heart, Sean. I'm sorry I didn't express my feelings to you sooner.
Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you, Brian.
All right. Well, enough with that. What are we here today for, Sean? Why are we doing this podcast?
Okay. What do we do? What do we hear? I thought you were going to ask me an existential question there for a minute. I kind of like froze up. I was like, oh my God, why are we here? What are we doing?
What is the meaning of life?
Oh my goodness. According to certain authors, it's the 42. We're more looking for the question. Shout out to anybody who knows what the reference. But anyhow, what are we doing this podcast for? Well, I'll tell you what we're doing this podcast for. We are going to talk to and about the hottest underground bands that you may not have heard of before. We're going to talk to bands like Promise Game, Protect Your Heart, and maybe even bands like Rad Stacy.
Whoa, now that would be pretty rad.
That would be rad. A Rad Stacy.
But
I know, that's what I was waiting for.
Right.
I was hoping someone would edit that in.
All right. Well, we've known each other for a long time, Sean. We've been playing in bands together since about 2005?
Yeah. About over 15 years now? I mean, my goodness. Like, where has the time gone?
Yeah.
Where has the time gone? All the bands we love are in a festival coming out pretty soon called When We Were Young. So, like, how does that make you feel?
Old.
I don't know, man. I don't like that. I'm not down with that. But we were in a band years and years ago, and we even met in 2005, right? So,
yep.
Where did we meet? When did we meet? Like,
I think that it was a mutual friend. You were coming out to some of our shows. I was in a band with a friend of yours.
Yeah, that's right.
So you came out to some shows. Right. We went to Denny's and had dinner afterwards, just like big band party kind of stuff. It was fun. That. And then eventually you loaned us some of your equipment when our bassists, all of their equipment, like was his amp died or something.
I remember
so then
that.
We borrowed your amp.
Yeah. You borrowed my SVT. That was really cool.
Yeah.
For you. That's cool for you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was great for us. And, we got a roadie out of it for the night.
Thanks, dude.
But he left the band. You ended up joining the band. That band broke up. We started a new band, and the rest is history. Here we are today.
That band pretty much
15
broke up
plus years later.
That band pretty much broke up as soon as I joined. What does that say about me? It was like everyone's like, we don't want Sean in the band.
You joined a sinking ship, unfortunately.
I was like the Titanic. We were playing it down, but then we started our own band, right? Like you just said. And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, we were called Scarlet Sonata back then.
Yeah.
Went through the dramas of being in a band, replacing members leaving, members on drugs, members in jail. I mean, you name it, we've experienced it.
I don't want to air out.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about that too much right now, about people's dirty laundry, if you will. However, we have been in that band. We've been in this band for a long time. We were called Scarlet Sonata, and we released our first EP, in 2006, called I'll Bring the Gun, You Bring the Bullet.
Yep. When did the second EP came out?
2009.
Trapped in a Sea of Emotion.
2009.
2009. Okay.
2009. Yeah. And then we went on a 8-year hiatus. That was a fun time. Then we joined that band called If Looks Could Kill. If Looks Good Kill.
I remember that.
That was a...
Which ended up being a title of an EP of ours that we released recently.
Well, yeah, we released that July 2021, and didn't we take songs from that EP? And because they were just sitting there on the shelf, like our singer never finished them. So I was like, yo, Brian, what if we recorded those songs and put them out there? We asked our boy who used to be in the band, and he was like, that's okay, that's fine. And If Looks Could Kill EP is now out there. So thank you, our friend.
Yeah, no, those were great songs.
Seriously.
Interesting recording experience, but yeah, they never got finished. And we finally went back and, well, I would say finished them, but no, we re-recorded them and I guess finished writing them in a way.
We did. They weren't finished. They were sat on the shelf for like what, over 10 years?
Cool. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. We dusted those recordings off, and we made them come alive.
Oh, and you know what else we forgot? We forgot Resurgence. That was our comeback album after our hiatus in 2019.
Yeah, 2019. We redid some songs from Oh my goodness, If Looks Could Kill. We just talked about that. We did stuff from I'll Bring the Gun, You Bring the Bullet, and Trapped in a Sea of Emotion, as well as some new stuff like Reflections, which is a very, very special song to me. I actually wrote that about my brother's fiance who was abusing my mom, dude. Like, ridiculous stuff. I mean, I don't want to get too personal here, but yeah, my mom.
This is the place to do it.
Oh, you really want me to do that? Okay, well, my mom done got a restraining order against her, and it was super dramatic, dude. Like, she pushed my mom. She, like, poisoned my mom's plants, dude. Poisoned my mom's plants. And, like, remember my mom's beautiful rose bushes at her house?
Yeah, I do.
Because we used to practice in my mom's house, and my mom had these beautiful rose bushes. You haven't been back since. Those rose bushes are now nubs, dude, because this bitch...
That's sad.
Can I say bitch?
Yeah, why not?
All right. This bitch...
It's our podcast. We do whatever we want.
We do whatever we want. This bitch freaking poisoned them, dude. And now they're all dead. Beautiful roses gone. Years of my mom's work gone down the toilet. Speaking of Reflections, we are going to be releasing that come February 23rd. And our boy Colin from Promise Game. God, I love Promise Game. Those guys, their music is so good. I mean, seriously, they're on like the Pop Punk Revolution playlist. If you guys haven't heard Promise Game, check them out right now because I love those guys. I love Colin. I love talking to that guy. I think he's the main guy I talk to on their Instagram page. By the way, follow them. Great dudes, wonderful dudes. They will literally help you out because they run Defend and Support the Scene. And
Defend and Support the Scene, yeah.
And Squatch in the Pit, like that website.
Squatch in the Pit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, those guys are awesome. So thank you, Colin. Thank you, Promise Game. Here's shout out the Promise Game real quick, guys. Give it up to them if you haven't already. So yeah, that's what Reflections is all about. And it's going to be re-released February 23rd, 2022.
Yeah, assuming this podcast comes out before that date. It's possible this podcast comes out afterwards, but viewers, you will connect the dots.
Maybe they will. Maybe they won't.
Yeah, let's hope. Anyway, so let's talk about Control Plus Space. Tell us about that website, Sean.
Well, I remember years ago you were telling me, Sean, you should start a website because you're a writer and you should write about bands and just do it because bands will love that stuff. And I'm sitting there going, nah, I got too much stuff on my plate. No, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. And then finally I did it and bands love it. People love it. So it's all about really showcasing underground bands like we're doing on this podcast. So it's kind of me just, writing it down and putting it out there for bands to share and to, really feel like their music is appreciated. Because I listen to every track that's sent to me. I dissect it, I check it out, and I sit there and go like, yeah, I gotta talk about this. I gotta talk about what makes it shine. And I have to make sure people are able to connect with it. And then, like, I got to get it out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. I think it's really awesome too because we don't have enough websites out there doing this stuff. Most of them are covering anything that's big and mainstream. A lot of the websites that cover smaller bands like to just trash talk them. For whatever reason, and I think it's awesome what you're doing because you're showcasing the underdog, and the underdog needs a chance, especially in today's media climate.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I agree with that. That's exactly why Control Plus Space came to be. It's not a place for negativity at all. It's not a place for negativity in any way, shape, or form. I'm not into that. I don't think that's right. Who am I to tell you what is bad music? I'm not here to tell you what is bad. All I could do is tell you what I think is good about what I'm hearing. That's all I could say. I'm not going to tell you that I think it's bad because that's up to you to decide. Because music is incredibly subjective. And it's not fair to say something that somebody spent so much time on, to put on a publication to say it's bad. That's got to be heartbreaking, that's not fair, So I'm going to write about what positive qualities this song has, so everybody deserves a little bit of time in the limelight, and that's what I'm there to do. That's what I want.
That's great.
Well, enough about Control Plus Space. How about Tonality Studios? What is that all about?
Tonality. So I, as you know, Sean, have been an audio engineer since 2004. And, I've been recording bands forever. So that's what Tonality is. It's my audio engineering project. These days I'm doing mostly mixing and mastering. I don't really do a whole lot of engineering anymore, but occasionally, I'll get together and produce a band. Obviously I produce all of our stuff and engineer all of that, along with yourself. But so mix and master bands. Shoot, man. I mean, I work with people all over the world. I work with people in Russia, people here in the United States. I mean, when you're mixing and mastering, it's all remote. They send the files digitally through Google Drive, and, I just download the stuff, and I can literally work with anybody anywhere. It's awesome. It's super fulfilling. I get to hear new music. This is my favorite part, is that I get to hear new music before anybody else gets to hear it.
That is, you know what? Even through Control Plus Space, I get that privilege as well. It feels really great, doesn't it, to be able to hear the hottest new single from an underground artist before anyone else.
Yeah, well, and you hear it and you know it's how good it is, and you know how good it's going to be and how the public's going to respond to it. And yeah, it's just, it's awesome being able to hear it first.
Well, the beautiful,
and in my case, I'm actually helping create it too. So that's really cool.
I was going to say, you get to help shape it. You get to turn it into something even more beautiful than it first started out. So that is even bigger privilege than even just listening to it. You get to be part of the creative process. How cool is that?
Yeah, no, it's super awesome, and I'm grateful for every single band that hires me.
Yeah, dude. You do this mostly remotely now, right? So you're saying that the whole pandemic thing didn't really greatly affect you?
No, you know what? I would say that I started getting more business when the pandemic started, because people are at home.
Yeah.
They buy their own little recording setups, and then they record their songs. They need somebody to mix the song or to master the song, and so they hire somebody like me on the internet and send all their tracks. And yeah, I saw a huge boom in clientele when the pandemic started.
The whole pandemic thing is it's a huge tragedy. It's one of the worst things that's happened to humanity in a very, very long time. But I gotta say, people have found a way to create some art out of it, some beauty out of it, as I've even noticed, Control Plus Space has gotten even more, people saying, yo, hey, look at me, hey, check me out. And I'm like, dude, this pandemic thing is awful, but people have found more time to create more music. So I'm going to say it may be an incredible negative, but there are some positives out of it. So, you know.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think even you and I are a good example of that. You know, when we recorded Resurgence, that was obviously before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But we were so slow at recording that album. And then the pandemic hits, and it's like we pumped If Looks Could Kill EP out super fast. And we're working on, you know, new singles right now that we're going to be releasing bi-monthly. And I mean, it's just, it's given us the free time, or I guess free time's not the right word.
Well, I didn't get free time.
It's definitely, it's definitely motivated us, you know, to work on more music.
I'm going to tell you what happened. I was able to get remote lessons for my voice. Shout out to Michael, my voice teacher. Shout out there, buddy. So yeah, I was able to get, you know, voice lessons. So my voice changed and I've got more confident at singing. So I was able to pump out more. And here's a big thing that really made us, you know, want to do it more, is that we saw more bands doing it. We saw more bands pumping out more stuff. So that really inspired us to pump out more music. So that inspired me, at least.
Yeah. So thank you, Scene. Thank you.
Thank you, Scene. Keep it up. Keep it up, Scene. A little more about Black It Out. We were on the radio in Sacramento. Do you remember the name of the radio station, Brian?
98 Rock, KRXQ.
That's right, 98 Rock. We were
also on the
Local
Licks.
That was
the show Local Licks. Yeah, they featured a couple of songs from what was that?
I'll Bring the Gun.
I'll Bring the Gun, You Bring the Bullet.
Right. And then recently, like last year, we were on Alex Plays Punk. And last year we were also on Squatch in the Pit. Oh my goodness, Squatch in the Pit. Shout out to Colin from Promise Game. As you can see, we really like those guys.
Yeah, I think we were on a few other small radio stations too, but I can't think of the names of them. Sorry if you're watching. Sorry if you're listening. You know, we appreciate you.
Yeah, just know that we appreciate you, and it's really hard to keep track of everything because there's so much great happening in the scene right now. And we appreciate you. Just let you know.
Yeah.
Just let you know we appreciate you.
And we're here to showcase it. That's the whole point of this podcast. We are going to start showcasing all of you and all of the great things that you're doing.
Come to think of it, Control Plus Space even released the Best of 2021 awards. Brian and I are pictured there. I remember the picture is you, Brian, pointing at the 2021. I thought that was really funny. Brian and I actually talked about this and chose some of the bands, chose some of the, what would you call that? The media outlets, such as Pop Punk Community, Signal Chord Records, you know, things like that all over Instagram. And yeah, punk.stance as well. Shout out to you guys, by the way. So yeah, Brian and I really sat down and talked about that and really, really wanted to showcase you guys. In fact, it took me 2 weeks to get that article done. One wave had a wave of people in the beginning, and then there was a second wave of people for the Best of 2020 award. The Best of 2021 awards. So yeah, thank you for that, Brian. Thanks for the help there.
Of course. I mean, this whole entire podcast is just a big thank you. You know, we appreciate everything that everyone's doing for the scene and everything that all of the bands and musicians are contributing to the scene. And that's what we're here for. We're here to showcase and say thank you for keeping the scene alive.
Yeah. So are we going to intersperse music of our music in this?
Yeah, let's do that. We have a new single that we're working on that should be coming out soon-ish called Live, Laugh, Love. Insert audio here. Okay, so we're going to show you a little bit of a clip from Reflections
featuring Promise Game. Our boy Colin, shout out to how many times did I shout Colin out today? There's going to be a little counter on the bottom. Sean, shout out to Colin. Dang it, I'm going to look like an obsessed fan. Sorry, Colin, but shout out to you anyway. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of the Pop Punk Revolution. You guys are amazing. You are keeping the scene alive. You are the scene. You are the community. Remember that, because the scene is made up of people like you, people making the music, people playing the music, people listening to the music, and people also showing others the music, such as us and people like defend and support the scene. Another shout out to Colin. Cue the counter.
Take a shot.
Yeah, we're not trying to kill our audience here, Brian. We don't want that drinking game, so drink responsibly. So anyhow, if you guys have a band or a project that you are passionate about and want us to showcase or talk to about in the Pop Punk Revolution, hit us up at podcast@moosicrecords.com. That's podcast@moosicrecords.com. And tell us all about what you do and send us the appropriate links so we could check you out. Because we want to know more. Because remember, you are the community. So that's it, everybody, for the first edition of the Pop Punk Revolution. Seriously, guys, we appreciate you. And to all of the elder emos, the regular emos, the hardcore kids, the pop punk kids, thank you guys so much, because we got to remember this. We are the scene. You're the scene. We're all the scene, and we are a community, and it's up to us to keep it strong, to defend and support it, and to make it right. So that's it from us. You guys all have a wonderful day and keep on rocking.